Hey, it's Captain Matt here with Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast about outdoor lighting, Christmas lighting, landscape lighting, soffit lighting, permanent lighting, whatever you want to call it. And today I want to talk about Christmas lighting. I'm making this video, it's almost the middle of June. And are you preparing right now for Christmas? I think you should be if you're not. And what does preparing for Christmas look like? Well, the very first step is, I want to say, defining your goals, but I don't want you to think of them as foofy, you know, pot of gold goals. I want you to think about real goals. So I want you to take time to actually sit down. What is the profit number I want to do? What do I want? What do I want from this season? Before we figure out how many clients, how many employees, first, what is that goal? Right. So let's just say it's $100,000 in my pocket. That's my goal. Okay, cool. Now, what does that look like? How do we get to that 100 in your pocket? Before we get that, why? Why do you want the extra 100K in your own pocket? What does that do for you? What does that do for your family? What does that do for your life? What does that do for your business? Is it meant to stay in your business? I want 100K for the rest of the year for marketing so I can demolish everything I'm planning on doing. Or I really want 100K because I'm going to buy a property for the business. Or I want 100K, man, because I busted my ass and I just want 100K in my personal bank account. Whatever it is, right? Be specific on why you want that, right? This is the first step, because it's easy to set goals and say what you want. But if you don't have a why behind it, it's super easy to forget and just becomes a number. And no one gives a fuck about a number, right? So what is it that you want and why do you want it? And then from there, let's say it's 100K in revenue. Okay, let's start running the numbers, right? What is your business right now? Is it 2-man crews, 3-man crews, 4-man crews, whatever, right? So first is, what is your crew size and how do you pay them? Is it hourly? Is it production? If it's hourly and you look in previous years, what is the percentage that goes to payroll, from payroll and overtime and workers' comp and all that, everything that goes all into that, the taxes, payroll taxes, all that. What is that average percentage? Is it 25? Is it 27? Is it 32? Is it 19? Is it 17? Whatever that number is, historically, what has it been? Or if you're paying production, let's just say you're paying 20% overall, right? Put up, take down, all in is 20%. Well, we know then that that 20% is a fixed factor. It's going to cost me 20% in payroll, in labor, to do the jobs I need to do. And then, do you already have a van? Do you need another van, etc., right? But before we go there, is one crew. What is their capacity? So let's say you're running a 3-man crew, right? How much can they do a day on average? What is their production, top line revenue production a day? Is it 4,000? Is it 6,000? Is it 8,000? Is it 10,000? I don't know. It's going to be based on your number and your crew, what your average is. You don't want to use your best crew. You want to use your realistic, right? What is the average? What is the normal? You want to factor these things on the normal. So for this case scenario, and I'm writing this down, right? Let's say it's 5K for a 3-man crew. Okay, for a 3-man crew. That's their top line. And we already know 20% goes to the crew. And then, a returning client, it's like 2% maybe for product. New client, maybe it's 30%. So let's use 30%. Let's use blended at 15%, blended from new client to returning. So then we got 35% of, let's just bump it right up to 20 and 20, right? So 40% of that 5K is out the door, gone, goodbye, not coming back, right? So from that 5,000, you're going to keep 3,000 gross profit, right? Okay. So that's a day. So my 3-man crew can do 5K in top line, which means 3,000 in gross. And let's just say we have 45 days of install. Maybe you have more, maybe you have less. Let's factor in 45. So we do 45 days times 5,000, right? That is 225,000 of top line revenue. That is what your 3-man crew can do in 45 days in the season that is their capacity, right? And then at 60% gross, that's $135,000. Okay. So one would tell us that that is not enough to make your 100,000. So one crew, because that's gross, right? So you also have the marketing spend, you have fuel, you have the things you forgot about, you have subscriptions for the business, you have insurance, you have maybe you have an office, you definitely have storage units or a storage facility of some sort, right? All these other little things. Oh, we need yard signs, we need door hangers, all these other things that are going to add up into your total monthly overhead, right? For Christmas, which is going to come out of that 135, because that means that's gross profit, which means your overhead hasn't touched it yet, right? Do you take a normal draw? Do you take a normal paycheck? Do you have other staff? Do you have a VA? Do you have an assistant? Do you have a salesman, right? Maybe there's 10% commission on that 225,000. Right, well, there's another 22,000. Now we're dropped down to, 110-ish, right? Before anything else. So first, what your monthly is, and let's just, for this case, for this easy scenario, let's use it's 15K a month. Maybe that's a little too much and it's a little too little for some of you guys, but let me use a nice number. So October, November, December, and January, 15K, right? Operating each month, which is 60K, right? So it's going to cost me 60K whether I have one employee or 10 employees, right? That's just my operating, not adding vehicles, not adding wraps, anything like that. So now we know 60,000 minus 135 in this scenario, right? Minus 60,000, you'd be at $75,000 left with no commission, no hiccups along the way. If you had a $60,000 season for overhead. So we know we need to bump that up another 25,000 to hit your mark, which would mean we would need another crew. And then you'd actually be over your mark. But once you had another crew doing the same thing, right, then that monthly overhead is going to get split in between two crews. So adding that second crew, yes, you're going to add vehicle cost, wrap cost. The payroll cost you're not going to really add because it's already even taken out at 20%. The product price is going to be the same because it's the same product, whether it's one crew or two crews to do the job. So your overhead gets split up into two crews. So that 225 that secondary crew is going to make, right? If we take the first crew as supporting the whole overhead, well, now that 225 looks different, right? Now that 225 in top line, actually at 135 is much more real, but we are going to have those added costs. Maybe it's an extra $4 or $5 grand for the truck, for renting it for the year or buying it or whatever, right? You need more storage, so that bumps up, but it's not going to bump up another 30K from that, or maybe it bumps up 10K total for the whole year. So now we add in, now we're at 125. Now we could jump up all the way to probably 180 to 200,000. And then you have advertising, all that stuff out of that. So you can literally break it down. Now, these were just semi-made up numbers from people I've talked to, right? But this is literally how you can break it down. So when you say, I'm planning for Christmas, I want to do $1 million in revenue. Okay. First off, why? Second off, how? Well, geez, man, my average is, $5 grand. Just got to sell a couple hundred jobs. I'll hit $1 million. Great. How? Right? What is the crew need for that? Right? Because every crew has a capacity, like it or not. Right? This crew can produce $225,000 in revenue in 45 days. Boom. You need that number because then that tells you how many crews you need. Right? It becomes more simple then. Okay. If I want this, well, I need 3 crews. If I want that, I want 2 crews. If I want this, you know what? This year, 1 crew, I'm going to grind it out with them. I'm going to pocket 60 to 80 grand at the end of the year in my pocket. Fuck yeah, let's go. Or, well, no, Matt, I need to hit $1 million because I also need 250,000 in the bank on top of that 100,000 that I need in my own pocket. So I need to do $1 million, I'm going to need 5, 6 crews. Again, be 5 crews based on these numbers, right? So you can literally break it down. So when I say prepping for Christmas, it's not ordering product. It's not cleaning last year's product. It's not testing last year's product. It's not even sending the invoices to clients. All of that's important. I'm talking about before all that starts, you got to know what and why you want it. Otherwise, it's just a fucking job. No different than anything else. And it's also, you'll get to the end of the year and go, well, what the hell happened to all my money? Right? I pushed these guys so hard. Well, maybe you pushed them too hard. Maybe you made them work 7 days a week and they got tired, and then they actually became more expensive because they weren't producing their $5,000 a day anymore. You run them too deep. Now they're producing 3,500 a day or 4,200 a day. And all of that changes, right? So take what you want to make from there, figure out what your crew capacity is and what your overhead is, right? And then then you can plug in real numbers and just know, I need 6 guys or I need 8 guys. I need 8 guys, and then I need to turn up my marketing, because if I had 3 crews, that means I need to sell $775,000 worth of work. Okay. What do I have right now? What's my return? Okay, I'm going to be at 200. That means I need to bump up $575,000. What does that look like? Okay, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z right now. We need to send postcards. We need to do door hangers. We need to do advertising. We need to do boom, 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 boom. And you start budgeting for that, because to get to that number, it's not just deciding you want it. There's going to be some sort of action, some sort of activity, some sort of money is being spent or time being spent to generate the revenue that you just said you needed. But all of this starts with what you want, why you want it, how much one crew can produce in your Christmas season a day, and then how many days are they going to work. It's that simple. From there, you can figure out how much you need to sell to make whatever number you want to make. That's simple. I do have some of these sheets, right? We have the monthly overhead sheet and the tracking, how much in your bank accounts, all of that available to my captain's crew members, captainmanoutdoors.com. I do mentoring, personal mentoring, one-on-one with guys for Christmas lighting, also for landscape lighting, soffit lighting, or all 3, right? Some guys just do 1, some guys do all 3. But they get to spend real time with me on Zoom calls every single month, one-on-one, and they get access to all that stuff. So if that sounds interesting, if you really want to pour some gasoline on your Christmas, now is the time to join. You got to get this shit in order before the other shit gets in order, right? Hit me up if you think I can help. I've been in the game. This is my 18th or 19th season coming up. I know Christmas like the back of my hand. And if you think this makes sense, you can apply right on captainmanoutdoors.com for our personal mentorship with me. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. Go get planning. If you listen to this, you have no excuse. Go to the fucking pen and paper and figure out what and why you want it. All right, guys, this has been Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast about outdoor lighting. Talk to y'all later.